is no antidote. There 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 is no antidote.
Oh, well, good evening, peculiars. Would you know I wore this monocle all day yesterday without it falling out, and for some reason I keep making a surprised face today and it won't stay in. But it's working out great. So welcome to the show. This is the first show of our 2026 7th season, which is kind of hard to believe. But yeah, we've been around all of that time, and it's really, really wonderful to be back. We have got a hell of a season planned for you guys, and our very first show, we just thought we'd get zombies right in the mix, like super early. And it's very exciting because I think it's a good book to start off with because it's weird and it's wonderful. And we all could probably use some distraction, eh, Davey?
That's right. Brandy, apparently you need to go for monocle muscle training.
I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Do some eye scrunching a little bit, here and there.
You don't actually have to squint. It's just, I think actually that the size is a little bit wrong. It's relatively comfortable, but I feel like I was just saying, I feel like I look richer. Oh, see, I was surprised
again.
There
you go. Yeah,
that's what happened.
Too expressive.
We've got a whole troop of people here tonight. I see lots of people wishing us Happy New Year. We've got Rebecca's here, and Susan, Leanne, and Jennifer, and Kristen Meston, and I think I saw some sort of. Oh, James is here. And Kathleen, oh my gosh, everyone. I'm really excited about all of the peoples here. Randy, Trent. Gosh. Hi, everybody. We've missed you so. And we've got some fun new people here, too.
I did exactly what every dad of 3 kids under 3 does, or 3 and under does. I definitely did not go out on New Year's Eve and was asleep before midnight.
Oh, dude, I actually went to bed at 9:30.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm old. It's allowed. But we have some really fun stuff coming up tonight. And it was, I feel like I know it hasn't been that long, but it feels really long. It's like, I haven't seen you guys since last year.
Well, you didn't see us since November, right? Since the November episode. Yeah.
No, didn't we had one in December, didn't we? Yeah, we did. We had one in December.
Didn't I host December? Did I host November?
I think it was the opposite. You were in November, and then I was, which was good.
The creative juices are flowing for the new year. We've got some good stuff for you this episode.
Oh man, and some really fun like extra type of shows, and and we have some comedy, and we've got some music. It's going to be fun. You guys are going to love it. But without further ado, I think it's time to invite on to the stage Mindy. We are so excited you're here.
And I'm so excited to be here. Hello.
It is wonderful to see you, and also to have read your book, which is weird in all the best ways.
Yeah. Brutal. It's violent. It's
achievement unlocked.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's really good. And it's also just, I think it sort of feels like it's nature versus nature, which is, so on one hand, I didn't know who to root for, kind of. Like, you know what I mean? Because I sort of was like, well, but our fungus overlords are kind of important. I don't know. I don't want to piss them off. At the same time, bugs are good. I don't know. It was tough. It was a tough decision. I felt I didn't know how to feel for some of the information.
It's understandable. I mean, everyone is just out to survive, right? And even the zombifiers are just, they're just trying to get from one day to the next, just like all of us.
That's true. That's true. But in a really horrific way.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And you got a pretty much 50-50 shot of exploding in spores. That's what I learned.
Yeah. I thought you were saying like right now.
Just in general, you're probably going to explode in spores. Yeah.
At some point during the show.
Maybe I had something special planned. Going out with
Oh, we've given it away.
Oh, okay.
Let's see here. I saw Leanne made a nice reminder. If you're new to us, there's chat, but you also want to be on live chat, not like the top chat. otherwise you'll lose track of the conversation, which tends to kind of go all over the place. So it's good to be on there. Let's see. We listened. Oh, so Sadie says they listened to your book in the car for holiday travel. So you guys had lots of fun facts to share with family and friends then.
I would imagine. I mean, yeah, it's great. There's so much great stuff in there for just party conversation.
It's
or just,
true.
Just hanging out with
family. Well, plus, at the holidays, I feel like if, for instance, if politics came up, you could be like, do you know?
Let's talk about something more pleasant, like zombies.
Like zombie spores, for that matter.
Sure. Yeah, let's shift over from politics to disco-eyed zombie snails. I think that's.
Mindy, please do not explode. We do not want you to actually explode if we can help it.
Is it too late to maybe arrange for some kind of special effect where, like, at the end of the show, I just kind of explode in a poof of spores?
Oh man, that would be so cool.
We were to plan that. Yeah, all right.
That's the next tier. That's the next tier up on Payham, right?
I didn't even think about that.
The next tier.
So Sadie says it did make for awkward responses from family. Sadie,
more so than politics, though.
Well, different kind of brain fungus, probably. Mm-hmm. No, do it. Actually, that would be really fun. I mean, if we had the time and we don't, but if we did, we could do like the little, instead of ink explosion, we could do like a different one for yours would have been just like fungal spores. Yeah. Spore explosion everywhere. Well, the way this works for those of you who are new, if for the live show, is you can go ahead and put your questions into the chat, and it takes a little bit of time for the questions to get to us where we can see them. So go ahead and do that while we work forward onto talking about some we start off with kind of softball question just to get us going, Mindy, and then we'll switch over to talking about announcements. So and I actually kind of know the answer to this because I did a little bit of research, but we'll pretend I didn't. So why and how did you come to write this book about this particular subject?
Yes. Well, like, what's not to like about zombies, right? So I actually, before I was a science writer, I was a filmmaker. I went to film school. And so going way back, I've always been interested in movies, and especially lower budget movies. And once you start talking about low budget movies, you have to talk about zombie movies.
Pretty much.
And and I've always been a big fan of comics and graphic novels, and zombies were kind of always a part of my personal pop culture landscape.
Got it.
And then as a science writer, it was actually when I was working at the American Museum of Natural History in New York City in the exhibitions department. I was working on a video for an exhibit about Charles Darwin, and in the course of my research, I came across the zombie ant fungus relationship. And any of you who have watched The Last of Us, you are probably familiar with Ophiocordyceps, or cordyceps as it is sometimes called, which is a type of fungus that zombifies ants. And in The Last of Us, of course, this is the fungus that at some point mutates to infect people. So this was the first time that I had heard of a zombifying mechanism in nature. And I was like, well, that's super weird. But it wasn't until a few years later when I was reporting on science for Live Science, where I started coming across more examples of this. And then that's where I realized, oh, this is much more widespread than I thought. And what I thought initially was just super weird is now super, super weird. And I must find
I was almost expecting you to be like, I thought it was going to be super weird, but in fact, you're like, in fact, it was way weirder than I thought.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and so luckily, I was able to. There was just so much. There's so much, unfortunately, that did not make it into the book. But just there's so many great examples, and the diversity of zombie makers and the organisms that they zombify and the mechanisms that they zombify is just so fascinating. It's so deeply rewarding in a way that I think a lot of zombie movies and other kinds of zombie pop culture aren't, because they tend to kind of wimp out when it comes to explaining how the zombification works. Yeah. They usually are just like, oh, it's a virus. And everyone's just like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah. So
actually, now I'm going to like, I mean, it's hard to understand exactly why we haven't ended up with a widespread mechanism for zombifying humans. I mean, I know why, but also I don't know why. And so I think we got to get back around to that at some point. I Sadie's like the zombie caterpillar eyeballs. Okay, we're going to come back to that too. We'll make sure we get there.
Zombie eyeballs, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
Put a pin in the zombie eyeballs.
Put a pin in that. We'll more than one person has been mentioning this particular screaming plants. For those of you who are listening and not watching, I do try to repeat what the comments say. If you guys have very specific questions, you can ask those. But I also think it is completely fair to ask questions about zombie movies, since you started off in film. So I think that's we are having Daniel Krause on the show later this year.
That is very exciting.
Yeah, if you thought the quiz tonight was going to have anything to do with zombie movies, like, why would I even bother? She is the definitive expert on zombie movies.
Yeah,
I think she probably could quiz us by the end of the show.
I would fail every quiz. I do not watch. So zombies creep me out in a way that like lots of other things don't, and I'm going to be real sad about that. Keep having. I'm going to glue it on, and then we won't have to worry about it. Because zombies creep me out in a way that like mummies don't. And vampires and monsters, and I think it's because they're wet specimens. Because wet specimens are weird, and
you know what I'm saying? More. Yeah. No, there's a lot more
kinda
goo
gooey.
and liquid where zombies are concerned. And
Yeah.
actually, there was this great anthology that came out. I think back in 2018, 2019, called I think it was Zombies versus was it Zombies versus Unicorns, and. And
that's not where I thought that was going. To be honest.
No. I mean, you get a lot of writers arguing about the comparative merits of zombies versus vampires because both are undead, and yet somehow vampires are historically and traditionally considered to be sexy, whereas zombies not so much. Although
we're talking about my people.
Well, that is changing though. There is now an entire subgenre of movies called rom-coms.
That's true.
That explore zombies in the context of romantic relationships. This is something new and different. But interestingly,
Mindy does explore this in the book a little bit.
I do actually. There are examples in the natural world of sex being used as a means of transmitting zombification. We have not seen that in movies yet, as far as I know. But screenwriters take note.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm sorry. That was probably not something you needed to hear. But,
the problem that I have is that I have an extremely visual mind that sees in pictures. And so when I start hearing sexy zombie times, I think of a lot of parts falling off in the places that they shouldn't fall off. And that's really disturbing to me. And so I'm struggling with that one a little bit.
It's so funny you should mention that, because that is actually literally what happens with zombie cicadas. There's a type of fungus that zombifies periodical cicadas. Those are the cicadas that come out in.
Those are the ones that read papers.
Yes, exactly. So they come out in cycles of 13 or 17 years. So these are the ones that have, as opposed to the ones that show up every summer, that are usually green, or at least in North America. These cicadas, which only appear in North America, have black bodies, bright red eyes, orange veined wings. They are very, very striking. And they are also targeted specifically by a fungus called Mesosporus cicadina. And it infects them. And as it spreads throughout their bodies, it essentially weakens their exoskeletons. It builds a plug up. Yeah, that's right. Their butts do fall off.
Butts fall off.
They build essentially a spore plug, and then as the exoskeleton bands of the cicada weaken, the back third of their body drops off so that the spore plug is exposed. And then one of the ways that the fungus manipulates them is it creates hypersexualized behavior. So so these infected cicadas, if they're males, male cicadas usually signal to females by rattling their tymbals, which are these structures, these internal structures. Yep. Those you can see the big yellow plugs right there.
If my Google image searching gets too gross for everybody, just tell me and I'll stop. But I'm going to keep doing it until someone tells me to stop.
Yeah, no, these are beautiful. But what infected male cicadas do is they do this. They make this sound by flicking their wings, and sounds kind of like that. And that attracts that attracts males to them as well. And then whoever tries to mate with the infected cicada, they will then they are then exposed to the spores and then are likely going to become
Just
infected and become zombies themselves.
STDs are a problem for everyone, and I feel
Mm-hmm.
there's not enough sex education. Davey, there should have been a sex education video. Davey made a duck sex education video. This is a lost opportunity.
Oh, a zombie sex education video. Yeah.
Did it address necrophiliac sex?
No, did it? No, I think it was more about the extraordinary.
They're very rapey. The male,
they are very rapey.
They're very rapey. That was the main crux of it. Stop being so rapey, male ducks.
Stop being so rapey, ducks.
Oh, okay.
Classic.
Yeah, I believe we said dead duck fucker a lot in that particular episode. I think that got said a lot. We're not, we're not against that.
That's but if you're a duck, that's just Kevin.
And the other Kevin.
And the other Kevin, yeah.
And the other Kevin. So I feel like we're off to a good start. I've got several things noted that I'm going to come back to later that are questions. You guys get your questions and comments in there as well. And we're going to hop on that in a minute. Oh, Rebecca's remembering it was the strain. Okay, so yes, there was I forget what that's referred to now. Rebecca, I remember we were all trying to think of it in the chat. So if you're new to this, there's whole conversations that happen in the chat that are kind of unrelated to what we're doing up here in the front. That is encouraged. So please, by all means, get as weird as possible in the chat. That's what we're here for. Oh, the zombie had an STS. There it is. That's what it was.
Yeah. That and it's not just cicadas either. Actually, there's another type of fungus that zombifies flies, and scientists actually found out that one of the things the fungus does is it actually releases these volatiles that very closely resemble volatiles or pheromones that are produced by female flies when they're ready to mate. So, so the fungus is actually sending out little scent poofs to attract
like a creeper online,
males.
aren't they?
Yeah,
they're catfishing. Oh my god, catfishing fungus.
Yeah.
Heard it here first, guys.
You do what you got to do to survive.
I guess you do. So, all right. On that note, I don't know how we got off on this sort of catfishing rapey duck thing going, but we're going to go to some announcements now, and then we're going to come back to your questions. So again, keep typing. I have 6 already queued up. So first of all, welcome, please. Thank you for being here, and please join us again in the future. We're so excited to have you. This is our 7th season, and the only reason we actually did 2 seasons the very first year, back to back, and that's one reason why we have 7 instead of 6, which would have been more like, I don't know, poetically correct because it's 2026. But we have a really good season picked out for us, and you can find out a lot about us on social media. So we've got Facebook, we're on Blue Sky, we're everywhere. But if you want to see our past shows they stay around forever. They're on our YouTube channel, and you can go all the way back in history to see what we've done. If you are over on my YouTube channel, the one for Brandy or B_Skillace, that has all the book trailers as well. So you can kind of get both things. We have podcasts. The podcast is slightly different than the live show because we do some things on the podcast that we don't do on the show, and we do extra things. There's the film podcast that Davey does. There's mystery podcasts, there's new releases. So there's a lot going on there. You do want to check out us in all of our glory, and you can get most of this information on our peculiarbookclub.com website, which is fun. And the newsletter. So not everyone who watches our shows is signed up for the newsletter, and shame on you, do that. Because if you do, it kind of sends everything right to your inbox. I know social media is like super upsetting in many ways right now. And one way that we can kind of get around that is we just send you an update with all of the things that are going on, and you can subscribe through our website, or you can subscribe with the link below. And next is, so membership. Now, it is all of our shows. We keep all our shows free because obviously we want to share the authors with everybody, and it's hard to do that if it's behind a paywall, and I don't like paywalls, and capitalism sucks. However, I'm also really poor. So like running the show is very complicated and somewhat expensive. And so we are encouraging you, if you're not a member who is a paid member, think about it as though you're buying me and Davey like a cup of nice coffee once a month. For $5 a month, you actually can make sure that we like don't go dark, right? Because I don't want this to be our last season, because it's gonna be our best. But it's true. We really do need your support. Otherwise, either that or you guys need to hire me to like write a lot of stuff for money. That would be helpful too, so that I can keep paying for everything. If we have 4 different tiers, there's the $5, there's 10, there's 20. If you are a special, very top tier person, you get some extra swag. And by the way, I did order the swag for the cards that are coming. They didn't get here in time for the first show. I'm waiting for them to arrive and I'll send them out. But you also, if you're a top tier subscriber, get this little guy. These are bookmarks, and guess who made them? She's right here. Mindy did this. Mindy made this. They're bookmarks. They're little kitties, and there's different colored ones, and they're flat. So you just have a cute little head poking out, just reminding you that you have a book to read, and he's your friend. So that's special.
I double checked the link on the newsletter slide, and I think I gotta update that. So I put the actual link in the chat. So
thank you.
Use the link in the chat. We'll update the slide.
Yeah, or on our website.
I've been going through and updating a lot of links. The podcast people might have noticed, time goes on, links change.
They do.
It's a lot to keep up with.
But and we've changed our website quite a bit too. Last year we updated it to make everything very simple and also to work almost like apps on your phone. So when you're on your phone, it's very easy to find everything. So yes, if you join us, you get cool swag. You get to go backstage with authors. You get fun extra gifts. I know, it is super adorable. And you get to recommend books. You also get behind the scenes stuff. So you'll notice I haven't made a big change to the our stop motion this year because I decided to create everything again from scratch on a totally different scale that exists anywhere else. And so I'm literally building like furniture. It's kind of nuts. But you'll get a chance to see behind the scenes footage of that with me talking about what it's like to build these things. But also our upper tiers get to do things like recommend Easter eggs to turn up in the next stop motion. And so it's a lot of fun. I hope you'll join us. Please join us. We love you, and we would love it if you loved us back just a little with some coffee. So yes, join us on PayHip, not Patreon, because Patreon is mean. So PayHip is the place. All right, moving right along. This is our Peculiar Book Club season. You guys, so much stuff is going on here. And we have Mindy as our first, but we've got, look at all these great books: Primal, Warhead, Story of a Murder, Cults Like Us, the Levitating Frog Thing, the Salmon Canon, and it's a long title. It sounds very much up our street. You guys definitely want to check out these books and try to come to as many live shows as you can. It's so much fun. Oh yeah, that's just more of the same, but you can kind of see the spread. That is also what the cards are. With the swag cards, is they're the covers and then with interesting facts on the back. If you also join us as a VIP, you can join us for a live mystery game that we're going to be doing. And there's 3 other things. We can switch through. Movie night. That's like Peculiar. No, it's like Mystery Science Theater, but Peculiar. And Davey's doing that one, which is going to be fun.
We still have to pick the movie, so
we do.
We'll have to start up maybe a Facebook conversation about what's going to be our Peculiar movie.
You guys get to you get to tell us what we should watch. Coffee house night, that's kind of like an open mic. And of course, our Halloween party. So you definitely don't want to miss these things. It's going to be very fun and a very nice time. I will stop touting all of the VIP stuff soon, I promise. But yeah, if we can just love us a little bit more in January, that would be awesome. More perks.
Just all the perks.
Yeah. All the perks.
I have to think, a zombie ant might be up there in the running already for Halloween costume. I always think the Halloween costume off of the book, and
how would you be a zombie ant? Would you just like be an ant with like a stalk on your head?
Zombie face,
weird zombie eye.
And, we make it work.
That would be amazing.
It would be amazing. Oh, this is our book cocktail. Kat, I think, is here. I believe I saw her somewhere on here already. So the winning, we named it. We vote on the name is Cordyceps cordial, and this is a great drink. She has, look at this great glass. So this is Kat. She sources these things from like yard sales and stuff. And I did it. I got as cool as I could get. So I found one at an antique store that has a snake. So it's not quite the same, but
that is still awesome.
It's kind of fun.
Wow,
it's kind of fun. And mine doesn't have a fun straw. That has legs and a straw. I want That's so cool.
You see it's a handle, but then she was like, and a straw. I'm like, wait a minute.
I
So you
know.
tip it.
Never heard.
Someone was
Is
thinking.
it like a spout?
And I know. I think you just
I think
drink from it. Yeah.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know. We'll have to ask that.
yeah, Cal will have to tell us. But yes, that is an amazing cocktail, and it's very nummy.
All right. And our final announcement. So we do a peculiar movie club, and we theme it around the book. And for your book, I was specifically looking for a zombie movie where it was a parasite infection. You know, it's still, like you said, a lot of times they're just like, virus. So I was like, this one specifically is like, it's a parasite affecting all the teachers. So we're going with The Faculty, and we're definitely going to get into like, or what was it, 90? Did it come out in 98 or is it early 2000s? I have to double check. I feel like it was 98. But like, it's right in the heyday of like teen high school movies and just a real sweet spot for movies. So
it was
going to be fun.
It was a good time.
Excellent.
So that'll come out at some point this month. That'll be our January movie.
I have lost track. I think that there were a couple of their questions that came in, but for some reason I'm not being able to go backwards in the chat, and I don't know why.
I started a few things there. Actually, a lot of people asked about what's going on with Mindy's whole scene. We wanted to talk about.
Oh,
so,
yes, we got to see
Mindy.
the scene.
Yeah.
Oh yes, scene. I wore my buggiest shirt. So yes, these are all lady beetles. Funny thing about lady beetles and zombies, there's actually a ladybug that became TikTok famous because it was a zombie. I don't know. Do any of you remember this? All of you heard of this, right?
This.
Okay. This was I think this was in 2019, and this TikToker and content creator on several platforms. Her name's Tiana Gayton. She makes a lot of really awesome videos about all different kinds of insects and spiders. And she was in the grocery store or food co-op, something like that. And I think it was in the organic lettuce, she saw a ladybug that looked like it was holding onto something like a cocoon.
Okay.
And she was like, well, this is unusual.
Yeah, because they don't make cocoons.
And so she prized the ladybug off the cocoon very gently, took it home, and she noticed that when she was trying to separate it, it kept trying to go back to the cocoon. And what was going on there was this ladybug had been parasitized by a zombifying green-eyed wasp. And these wasps target ladybugs. What they do is they lay their eggs inside the ladybug. The egg hatches into a larva. The larva comes out of the ladybug, spins a cocoon, but this is the interesting thing, is that the behavior manipulation continues even after the parasite has technically left the ladybug's body, because the ladybug then acts as a guardian for the cocoon while the young wasp is pupating. And this is actually very important because this ensures that it's not going to get eaten by some other predator. So, and scientists aren't sure exactly what it is. There's some kind of chemical manipulation. So something was done while the larva was in the ladybug that keeps it attentive.
That's so not only are you going to have the baby, you get zombified into a permanent baby.
Into being a bodyguard. Yes, exactly. Yeah. It's not a very good deal.
Seems wrong.
but actually this zombie ladybug had a happy ending. So Tiana Gayton, she was able to gently separate it and get the cocoon away from the ladybug, and then she isolated it in a jar and fed it and then gave it water, and it started looking like it was regaining its strength. It started moving around, and then after after about a week, she took it to the local park and released it on video, and it flew off into the sunset. Or Ladyberry was what she called it.
Very nice.
So,
like my ex-boyfriend, says Rebecca Gibson. I also want to add, because I meant to say this, but in that long list of books, you will notice there are some Peculiar Book Club members, including Rebecca, who's going to be with us talking about the bad cordyceps. Or bad cordyceps. Now I've got cordyceps corset. Bad
a cordyceps corset. Wow. That
I was
actually
probably zombified just now.
Yeah. Now I want to design a cordyceps corset.
Yeah. Says can't really blame the wasp daycare costs.
That is true.
Tell me about it.
It's kind of true.
Tell me about it.
Yeah,
he's
got 3.
Yeah. So there are a lot of zombies that seem like they have a purpose to it, right? Like, the protecting the young and stuff like that. Is that ever used in zombie movies? Like, is there ever a zombie movie where the zombie, like,
Has like a reason.
That's really interesting. I would say the thing is in most zombie movies, it seems like the plot tends to focus more on what zombification does to the host as opposed to what the goal of the zombifier is. One very noticeable exception is The Girl with All the Gifts, which was a phenomenal book by M.R. Carey, and then made into a movie where they and actually I think it came out around the same time as the game The Last of Us did, and those two were both very notable because they were the first in a very, very long line of zombie pop culture titles to look at fungus as a zombifier, as opposed to, say, a virus.
Right.
And what The Girl with All the Gifts did, which was really interesting, was it kind of baked into the story was this was the notion of what zombification is about. It's about manipulating a host to be able to successfully reproduce. That is the survival goal of pretty much any living organism. You want to survive, you want to reproduce, and zombifiers are no different. And so so that movie, that book and that movie, I thought did a really wonderful job of explaining that aspect of why zombification was happening and what the end goal was. And so that's something that I think a lot of zombie movies don't really explore in detail. They tend to focus their attention more on the goo and the ooze and the weird superpowers that some people seem to get when they're zombified.
Which always kind of confused me because, like, first of all, I saw a comedian talk about it once. Like, human teeth, not that scary, actually. Like, it's not that hard. I had a root canal. I busted a tooth because of hard bread, right? Like, it's not. I kind of don't see how these are really the chompers that you need, but somehow the zombification seems to mean we are much more able in that way.
Super strength, super speed. Yeah, these are things that are usually not well explained, but they look cool. So we're just gonna go with it. But,
so we had a couple people who, both Leanne and Ryan, about the screaming plants. It said it's cool that plants being munched on by caterpillars send out a distress call, which wasps recognize and use to find caterpillars to zombify. Like, that's kind of a messed up cycle right there that you've got.
Well, this is something that actually in the last few years there have been several studies that are looking that look at the different ways, the different types of signals that plants send out based on different kinds of stressors. In fact, there was a study that just came out, I think, just in the last year, that plants that are dehydrated, it's not like they're not screaming or anything, but they're vibrating in this way that is kind of like screaming if you're a plant.
I'm going to count it.
Yeah.
I'm vibrating all the time. It feels like screaming. Yes.
Right. And of course, plants, there are compounds that plants produce to attract certain types of insects, because they need to be pollinated. And so this is a similar kind of example, except what they're doing is they're releasing a distress call because they are being eaten by something. And over probably many millions of years of evolution, this relationship evolved where the distress call that they are sending out is something that was interpreted as a dinner bell by certain predators that eat whatever it was that was eaten.
It's just like you're calling in the cavalry, right? It's like, hey guys,
yeah,
we've got a problem.
But it's also something you might want to eat.
Yeah. And the and Sadie mentioned again the zombie caterpillar eyeballs. Okay. Wow. Like, why?
I think that might
snails.
Snails. That's a snails,
right?
Yeah. So yeah, this is something where if you have not seen disco-eyed zombie snails, I urge you to go to YouTube and search them out, because there's a lot of video of this and it is really mesmerizing. So what's going on here? So these are snails that are infected by a type of worm called leucochloridium, and this is a worm that actually its primary. Yeah, there we go.
Look at those eyeballs.
That I know that looks like Photoshop or AI, but it is not. That is actually what they look like. So what you're seeing in the snail's eye stalks are brood sacs. So these are brood sacs that are stuffed with I can see how much you're enjoying this. They're stuffed with larvae, and
Yum.
And the colors of the brood sacs are actually, they're different species of leucochloridium produce different colors. And I have seen examples where snails have been infected by 2 different species of these worms, and they will have different colored brood sacs in each eye stalk.
Nice.
And then maybe an extra one in the gut just for funsies. So what happens is they get infected by eating the eggs of this worm, which they find in bird poop, because birds are actually the primary host of these worms. They can only reproduce in birds. So the birds poop out the eggs, and then oopsie, we've got a bunch of worms that need to somehow get back into a bird to reproduce. And again, over many millions of years of evolution, this is the strategy that they've worked out. So they're eaten by snails. They produce these brood sacs inside the snails. They migrate into the snails' eye stalks, and then once they're there, they pulse. So what the stills do not convey,
it's like a disco. It's like
disco-eyed zombie snails. That's where you get it. It is mesmerizing to watch. So you get this hypnotic movement, and it actually looks an awful lot. It looks like a caterpillar. So maybe that's where it came from. So
all I know, I mean, it makes me want to eat them. I mean, it's
right. I know.
You're just thinking like, I don't know, maybe.
It looks delicious. And so what scientists have hypothesized is that because this resembles the movements of a caterpillar, that is something that would be attractive to a bird. And then the way that the worms change the snail's behavior, snails that are infected tend to wander out in the open instead of staying in the undergrowth, where they usually lurk under leaves. So they go out into the open. They've got these pulsating eye stalks that are very highly visible to hungry birds, and because this skin on their eye stalks is stretched so thin, they rupture very easily, and then the brood sac just drops right out and the bird eats it, and then the worm is exactly where it needs to be to reproduce.
That's fun and horrible all at the same time. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I noticed we have, I just want to make a shout out. Leanne was talking about it. We have some folks who are abroad. We've got Judy is in New Zealand and Elizabeth is in Canada. And I don't know if Sureka is here tonight, but normally she is. She's wonderful too. We do have people actually who tune in from all over the place, which is just, I think, awesome. But one of the things that I keep being reminded about is that we need to talk about these paintings behind you before I get, speaking of like colorful things that are pulsing behind you, I feel like we need to talk about these paintings.
Yes, these were both done by my husband, Hans Breet, who is a fabulous painter. He's a landscape artist, paints scenes from walks that we have taken around New Jersey and elsewhere, through marshes and woods, and so he's originally from the Netherlands, and of course there's a fine tradition of landscape painting in the Netherlands, and in many ways the landscape of New Jersey is very similar in two parts of the Netherlands, or parts of New Jersey at least, with the marshes and the low-lying land. I
would not have necessarily put those two together, but I also I grew up in Southern Ohio, and it looks a lot like Scotland, and so things you just wouldn't necessarily go like, yeah, those two places. Though I shouldn't be that surprised. Like, isn't the Appalachian Mountains, isn't that part of Scotland actually when they separated? Where's Leanne? You know these things. She's our geologist. So that's wonderful. Those are beautiful paintings. I also paint, not that well, but it is a nice thing to do. It's quite nice.
Oh yeah,
very pretty.
Very soothing to look at.
Mentioning, oh, that's nothing. I'm a fish parasitologist, and no one wants to go for sushi with me anymore. I bet not.
I love telling people about the fish parasite that replaes their tongue. It becomes that becomes a living tongue. That's my favorite fish parasite.
That one is super disturbing. I've seen it. It makes me sad.
The thing is, like, the photos that you see of it because the fish is fine. The fish is fine. It has an isopod for a tongue, and the photos that you see of living fish with this isopod tongue, they look surprised, but they don't look like, but just like mildly like, oh, what? I've got that now. Okay.
That's crazy. I love it. Okay, so I just realized, I'm assuming that yes, we're getting along into. Sorry, it's been so exciting. So we have several things that we want to get out here. One is that we have a song for you, Cord Ravenswood, our peculiar in the field, who goes far and then farther, has come up with a little song for us tonight in testament to the zombies. So.
I didn't mean to do it, but I did it anyway. Something deep inside me compelled it all to go astray. I didn't mean to do it. This morning it was fine, but something crawled inside me, and some of me was no longer mine. Oh, oh, oh no, it's zombie time. It's zombie time. It's zombie time. It's zombie time. I didn't mean to do it. No one ever does. It's part of nature's cycle, but nature's cycle sometimes sucks. I didn't mean to do it, and it happened so fast. This morning I was mostly me. Mostly me didn't seem to last. Ow, ow, oh no, it's zombie time. It's zombie time. It's zombie time. It's zombie time. Maybe I should not have peed in that river. I didn't mean to do it. Now it's all been done. I stagger into the sunset in tragic blind compulsion. I didn't mean to do it, but now it's all done. I stagger through the sunset and on beyond oblivion.
Oh my God, that was amazing.
I
Holy
sometimes
cow.
forget to mention that Cord Ravenswood is actually the actor Nick DePinto, who is a friend of mine in DC, who's
I found
been
my
in
new
movies
ringtone.
and television and other stuff. But he does like to get his other selves in there. Do you remember the one where he did the jewel thief one? People were like, I didn't even recognize that was him.
I know. That's what I was thinking. Without the glasses and the hat, if you
know.
introduced me to him at a party, I might not recognize.
You wouldn't know who
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was.
That was so amazing.
I'm so glad you enjoyed that. Well, that's not all we have for you.
Uh-oh.
We also have a little comedy sketch.
Well, so, a lot of you know that I nerd out about things, but one side of my nerddom that I haven't really showed too much is my appreciation of professional wrestling. And just when I heard what goes on between a jewel wasp and a roach, it made me think of those classic wrestling battles. So here you go.
All right, I look forward to this.
Oh yeah, Jewel Wasp, the king of kings, the apex predator, here for the main event with my mortal enemy Roach. Let me tell you something, brother. You don't know what's about to happen to you. I'm not only gonna beat you, I'm not only gonna take your title, I'm gonna turn you into my zombie. That's right, first sting coming so fast you won't even see it. Going right for that cerebral ganglia. Gonna paralyze those front legs. Second sting, the venom sting. Gonna make you my zombie slave. Gonna drag you by the antennae. Lay my egg and let it develop inside of you. You have no idea what you just walked into. You walked into a world of pain. Because I am the best. I am the Jewel Wasp. I'm gonna make a zombie out of you. Jewel Wasp! I'm more evasive than you know. I'm more elusive than you can imagine. And when I get done spinning you around the ring, I'm gonna stand up to my full height. And you're gonna realize what you just walked into. And when I hit you with my karate kick, and I put you down on the mat for the 1, 2, 3, you'll realize that you ain't making a zombie out of this roach. 'Cause I'm the champ. So bring it on, Jewel Wasp.
I'm crying here. I'm a huge fan of pro wrestling.
God.
So, oh my God, that touched me. That touched me deep.
Thank you. Thank you.
I like coughed. I almost choked to death.
Oh my God.
Yeah, when I heard that the roach fights back, that
Yes.
clicked in my brain. I was like,
No,
"Oh, it is on. It
That
is
is
on."
you know, that is like one of the standout things about that particular zombifier relationship is that roaches actually have a way to fight back, and scientists they filmed this in super slow motion.
Oh God. We
Yeah.
need to find that.
I will pull it up. I saw the video earlier today. I will pull it up. But yeah,
They
it is
literally
incredible.
do kick the wasps to keep from
Oh my
being
goodness.
zombified. And the
Baby.
scientist described, I think it was Kenneth Catania. It was his lab. He described it as like, think of it as, like, how I am so not a sportsy person, but like when you're hitting a baseball and you're like, I'm guessing this is how you hold a bat. Like part of what gives you the power is the follow through with your whole body, and apparently that's what the wasp that's what the roaches are doing with
I
their
see.
legs. When
They've got the whole kick
Okay,
thing
let me
working down.
do this up.
My voice is like wrecked now. I was laughing so hard. You guys
I
can't see me in the green room, and it's probably a shame because I was losing my poops. It was very good.
Oh my God.
Oh, I did see, Davey, we did get, somebody suggested you a new costume.
Oh, I think I saw
Yeah,
that.
you could be a cicada with an STD, and we could just put a bunch of
Mm.
cotton fluff and tape it to your butt.
Okay, here's the karate kick.
Okay.
I don't have
Super
any
slow
sound
motion.
for it, but boom.
Damn!
There it goes.
Oh.
There it goes.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just like watching John Cena.
yeah, that's impressive. That's fun.
That was good.
Yeah,
I gotta say.
and it works. I mean, that's the thing. Like what the wasps are doing there is so specific. It's not just that they're not just stinging the roach in the brain. They are targeting a very specific part of the brain. So
Right.
they have to really nail that. And apparently older roaches seemed to have a higher success rate than younger ones. But yeah, the ones that were able to connect, that was usually enough to make the wasp go, yeah, I think
Maybe not that one.
No.
Maybe not that one.
Just stay tuned for Mindy's next book about wasp concussions.
I know we're getting things are moving along, so we got a couple other questions here. One thing that Kathleen who made our lovely drink tonight with the awesome straw sippy cup, adult sippy cup, that's what that is. She says, anyone else find something in the book that made you question your childhood? She said, I loved the pill bugs that crawled near me out in the sun. Now I wonder if my friends were zombies.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's something else that I learned as I was writing this is that you're probably a lot closer to a zombie than you think you are. And this is something that actually I noticed coming up through Instagram, where during the spring, people who had gardens, I was I started noticing that people were often posting photos of these caterpillars that they found among their plants that had these little that were studded with these sort of like little white oblong objects all along their backs, and people were like, what am I looking at? What's going on here? Is this is this just what the caterpillar looks like? Is there something wrong with it? And it was always great fun to kind of drop into those conversations and say, hey, guess what? You're looking at a zombie caterpillar, and those things on its back are cocoons of wasp larvae, and they grew inside the caterpillar and then chewed their way out and then built their cocoons on its back. You're welcome.
Yeah, and somehow I chose a couple of books about zombies this year for our show, and I'm so comfortable with them all. I don't, not sure how this happened. Yeah, and I do think that there's. I mean, I've certainly seen some strange behavior. I mean, as a kid, we were always taught about like, okay, if you see an animal approach you, that usually means it's sick, right? If you see a raccoon during the daytime, I never thought about thinking that way about insects. But
Yeah.
here we are.
Right. Well, that's, I mean, actually, rabies is one of the few organisms that manipulates behavior that actually does affect mammals and actually does affect people. And
Right.
there are accounts of people infected with rabies going back thousands of years.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
yeah, and unfortunately, what we're seeing with many people moving away from trusting vaccines these days is that people are opting not to vaccinate their pets against rabies because rabies has effectively been eradicated in the US as something that is communicated between dogs for the most part, but it is still very much around in wild animals. And the problem is that once you are infected with rabies, you may not necessarily know that you're infected, but by the time symptoms show up, you are already dead. Like really,
Yeah,
it is very close to many types of zombifying infections that way. In that, by the time symptoms show up, it's already there is no treatment, there is no cure,
right,
there is no
right. At that point, it's kind of game over. Yeah. Someone was saying that tussock moth caterpillars got hit hard this year. So yeah. And then we got some of you. I Darter Dancer is the handle there. Apologies for not knowing who you are in real life, but Darter Dancer's comment was there. And then someone else was saying, speaking of childhood, I was astonished to see that the reference to aliens still evoked an intense response.
It's a very visceral scene. If you've seen it, you never forget it.
It sure is. It sure is. And what's interesting is they base the body type of the xenomorph on a creature who actually lives in the deep sea, who tends to use jellyfish as. So I mean, there is a kind of parasite thing going on there.
Yeah, but it's interesting because the type of wasp that actually is sort of the original chest burster, the one that lays its eggs inside the bodies of living caterpillars, and then they grow and they burst out. Actually, that wasp was so horrifying to Charles Darwin, who you'd think as a naturalist who traveled the world, who saw many strange creatures, you'd think he'd seen weird stuff. He wouldn't be, grossed out by anything. He's a naturalist. He's experienced. And yet he wrote, actually, I wrote this down because it is such a great quote that I have to read it so that you get the full flavor of it. So he actually, he was so disturbed by how these wasps reproduce that he wrote in a letter to a friend of his who was a botanist. I cannot persuade myself that a beneficent and omnipotent God would have designedly created the Ichneumonidae, which are these wasps, with the express intention of their feeding within the living bodies of caterpillars. So yeah, they're putting the ich in Ichneumonidae. They made Charles Darwin questioned the existence of a benevolent God.
Well, I mean, nature does that, right?
Sometimes it does. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's great. So we have a couple little, one more question at least that I wanted to, sorry, Rebecca just typed in, Darwin was a bit of a shrinking violet. And Darter Dancer said Darwin had zero chill, exactly zero chill.
Well, okay then.
Ryan jumped in on there as well. We do have another question, which I'm going to hold off on because two things. One, it is time for our quiz and the Davy quiz. And two, my computer's about to die and I have to go plug it in. So Davy, take it away.
All right. So I got to warn you, peculiars, this one, it turned out to be a hard quiz. I never know how hard they're going to be when I start creating them, but this one turned out to be a challenging quiz. So,
all right, bring it.
But I think the peculiars will be able to help you. Mindy gives the final answer here. So it's always tangential to something in the book. And there's something at the it's just, you mentioned it briefly at the end of the book. And I also thought this is fun because this is proof that I listen all the way to the end of books. But you mentioned earworms.
Yes.
And I couldn't resist. I couldn't quiz you on zombie movies, but I could quiz you on earworm songs.
Uh-oh.
So the whole quiz is about earworms. The quiz this week is called I Can't Get the Song Out of My Head. So 3 songs that are known earworms So scientists at the University of St. Andrews did a study scientifically and decided We Will Rock You by Queen is the most addictive earworm song of all time. The stomping and clapping were overdubs of the band members set to a delay using durations of prime numbers, an actual recording technique, which is known as blank. Is it known as A, non-harmonic reverberation, B, delay stacking, or C, prime echoing?
Okay, so my husband and my kid are both musicians. My kid is actually studying electronic music composition. So if they're watching this right now, I'm imagining them like, they're probably like texting my husband right now. Like, but however, I don't know. I'm gonna go with prime echoing just because it sounds like it could be correct.
Okay. So prime, Leanne says B, which is the delay stacking. I was going to say A.
It was just, I was originally going to like, what am I going to quiz exactly on in these things? But it was just so interesting finding out like how they made this song that I was like, ooh, this is interesting. So, okay, yeah.
Brian says C. Oh, there's a lot of people saying C.
Okay.
A lot of C's. Okay.
So the answer is actually Brandy was right. It is non-harmonic reverberation.
It's not fair. Mark's favorite band is Queen, and I thought I had maybe heard that before.
I am really
Hans's favorite band is Queen, but I don't think that has ever come up in any conversation about them.
I'm getting really good at coming up with the bullshit answers. So
your bullshit answers are amazing. You give the best bullshit, Davey.
All right, question number 2. Now that's the scientifically most earworm song, but I couldn't just go with the science. I had to go, there were Reddit threads about this, and so I went off book a little bit to some other earworms, and a lot of people thought that the safety dance by Men Without Hats is quite the earworm. So the song was written for a very specific purpose, though. The lead singer Ivan Dorosh. It's a protest song against bouncers, prohibiting what kind of new wave dancing in the early 80s? And I forgot the question mark. Is it A, pogoing, B, breakdancing, or C, the robot?
Okay. Pogoing is a punk dance. That is, I don't think that's new wave.
Okay.
And breakdancing is also not technically new wave. So, because breakdancing came out of hip hop. So, I'm going to go with the robot.
Oh, I like this. You have reasons.
As opposed to the first one where I was just pulling it out of my ass.
Ryan's hopping on the bandwagon. He's saying C. Kathleen was mentioning that she was shouting the answer for the first question.
Like you're shouting at Jeopardy? Yeah.
Kristen Meston says A. And I have no idea.
So. Is... You had the right idea. You were just a little off on your timing. It is pogoing.
Oh,
no. So pogoing was like the new wave version of mosh pitting. It's where
What's it though? I question that,
Davey.
At least to be fair, he said in interviews that because it was about like it was coming off of disco, and like in disco you're dancing with a partner, but this you're dancing by yourself, and I don't know. They were jumping up and down and disrupting the dance floor, and the bouncers didn't like it. So
I was thinking like with the robot, you're doing these very
that's true.
Very sharp moves.
I'm with
you. Can take someone's eye out.
I have to. All right. So first of all, we have to say that Mindy is the first person to have heard the answer, contradict her answer, and look back at Davey and go, "Was it though?" And
I have opinions.
I honor you. Like you are my new hero. Was it though?
All right. And I have saved the best earworm for last, because I guarantee when you leave tonight, you will be singing this song. It will be stuck in your head. There's no way to avoid it. An iconic earworm, the song Menomina, was originally created by Italian composer Piero Umiliani, but was made famous by the Muppets. The song is typically performed by a male character just called Menomina, and 2 pink female characters with cone-like mouths called what? Is it A, honkers, B, snouts with a W in there, or C, trumpeters?
I love the Muppets so much, and I feel like I'm feeling a sense of deep personal failure that I don't know this.
This is crazy that Sureika's not here. That is like her thing.
Okay. Well, I'm just okay. So just going from the basic morphology of these Muppets. I think looking at those cone-like mouths, it seems like they do seem trumpet-like, but honkers seems like it aligns more with the Muppet aesthetic. I'm gonna go
It
with
does,
honkers.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
We get
All
we
right.
get it. We people seem to be pretty well split between A and C.
Mm.
This better not
And
be B.
the answer is B. Snouts.
Oh!
They are
Oh!
snouts. Yeah.
Oh man.
I think I think there
Snouts.
is a honker on Sesame Street. It's like got the honker for a nose.
Oh, maybe that's
Yeah.
what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
It does
Okay.
sound very Muppety.
Yeah.
Snouts.
That's really
Yeah.
funny.
So next time you see them
all of them
dancing,
were
doing,
A and C.
doing their heads back and forth.
Phenomena.
Their snouts.
Phenomena.
So
You have to say it
we're
like
not
that.
singing that for the next 24 hours.
I have to say the worst earworm for me, and I don't know if this is because I'm autistic, but if I hear the beginning of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air song, I have to sing the whole thing.
That's literally the plot of a South Park episode with
Is it?
with Styx's "Come Sail Away." Anytime Cartman hears the beginning of "Come Sail Away," he has to sing the whole thing. So
Yeah,
Mm.
no, it's problematic.
Over the entire month of November, I had to do that with Golden from K-pop Demon Hunters. That
okay.
song burrowed
I
into
still
my
haven't seen that
brain.
movie. All right, so I need to
It's
read
You're
this.
too new to make the list. There were a lot of mentions of "Happy" by Pharrell Williams. There were a lot of Queen songs. There were a lot of
Sure.
mentions of this was a Korean song by Psy, Gangnam Style.
Oh, yeah.
Who Let the Dogs Out? The Paul McCartney Christmas song.
Simply having a wonderful Christmas time.
It's all about, so the scientific method, it was all about repetition. It was like a
Ah,
repetitive beat.
interesting.
Like you could literally strip the melody out and this song would be exactly the same for you.
Interesting.
Like that was kind of how they came up with their.
Science of earworms.
Okay, so I've got, first of all, Rebecca's daring me to do the whole Fresh Prince of Bel-Air song, and I'm not going to do this. But we do have a final question here from Sadie, which is, what is your favorite type of zombification?
Oh, favorite is such a loaded word. I mean, there are so
I
many
was working
different...
on body farms today, so
Oh, well, okay. Well, as long as you brought up body farms, so let's talk about putrefaction and the liquefying body tissues. So there's a type of virus that infects caterpillars. Caterpillars really, they can't catch a break. They get it from all these different kinds of zombifiers. Yeah. But anyways, this type of virus that infects caterpillars. What it does is it suspends their metamorphosis. It makes them climb plants, and then once they get there, they essentially hang from their prolegs, those little stumpy legs, and dangle down. And the virus just liquefies their bodies into goo, and it gently patters down like rain onto the leaves beneath them. Those leaves are eaten by other caterpillars, and the zombifying cycle continues.
Yum.
Okay, I'm gonna. Do you want the Google image search for this? Do you
You
want
know,
it?
we really ought to do it.
You can't offer it and then not deliver.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, here we go.
All right, I'm gonna see this.
All right, let's zoom in here.
Yep. Yep.
No, unattractive. Oh, they start off all right, and then
Yeah, the ones that are hanging down, sort of looking kind of deflated. Yeah, those are. That's what it does.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, today my work in I do an audio. I have an Audible original called How to Catch a Killer, which is about forensics. And today my task was to talk about the beginnings of etymology and entomology. Sorry, etymology of entomology, and it was guesstimating how many mites on the desiccated remains of a mummified infant. So that was my quiz today.
That's almost like guessing the jelly beans in a jar, but
sort of. Yeah, it turned out to be 2.4 million. So,
wow.
I'm glad we got the drinking out of the way earlier. That's probably for the best. But anyway, this has been a great show, and we have arrived at the end of it already, which happens. I literally, I think I could have just kept talking, and then if it wasn't for David being like, we have other stuff. Oops. So thank you, Mindy, for an absolutely beguiling evening of horrific information. It's exactly the kind of thing we like to see on this show.
Thank you so much.
Yes, and I hope you guys will come back. We have another show in January that's Submersed. I hope I'm right. I believe that's the next one, and it's about people who make submarines and also murder. It's very interesting. I didn't realize there was such an overlap, but you never know. So thanks all of you for being here with us and for listening to me go on and on about VIP membership as well, and for catching us in our fun stuff with music and comedy, because Davey and I have committed to doing a lot more comedy sketches this year. So come back to a place where, if you're weird, you're family.
Phenomena.
You got the blue bottle blues when you wake up in the night. Don't make a big mistake, 'cause you can never make it right. When you reach out for the vial, feel the ridges in the glass. It's a matter of survival, baby, better watch your back. There is no antidote. There is